So first of all, I know a lot of you are already very familiar with this, but I think there's also some people here that won't be. So the components that make up an SD-WAN solution, we have a hardware element and we also have a software element. The hardware element, I would say that our customers generally will buy the hardware in sort of 80 to 90% of cases. Most of the orders that we see do include the hardware piece. There are occasions where a customer will decide that they just want the virtual license. They don't want to buy the hardware. Maybe they are deploying in a country that is particularly difficult to get hardware into, so they wish to source from within a country a UCPE device, a third-party device in which to host our hardware, our software rather. But more often than not, they do buy with the hardware. We also have the software components as well. We have 3 different flavors: standard, enterprise, and premium. Both the standard and the enterprise will consist of the Edge software and also the VeloCloud orchestrator, and the orchestrator is really the management piece for that. For our customers that are looking to accelerate and give that, improved performance and stability with their SaaS and cloud applications, they will choose to buy our premium edition, and that will then give them access to our cloud gateways. So what do we do when we're quoting a solution? So first of all, we're going to have a look at the hardware piece. So we need to decide what size box we're going to have, and it's usually our partners that will tell us the sizing as they have that technical skills to be able to size up and scope a deployment. So first of all, they decide what hardware box they want. Next, they want to decide which warranty they want. Do they want the RTR warranty, which comes as part of the subscription if they're renting the hardware, or if they're buying the hardware, the RTR comes for the first year. They may decide that that's not a good enough level of support. They might decide on the next business day, or they might decide on the same business day. Both of those are upgrades and incur additional costs. And then finally, they want to have a think about the additional years of support they require. If they are buying the hardware, they only get free support for that first year, so they need to have a think about how they're going to support that box after that first year has expired. So first of all, next we're going to have a look at the compatibility matrix. So we're going to look at what hardware goes with what software, and also what the subscription licenses look like. So across this top line here, you can see the Edge 510 right the way through to the Edge 3800. These are our hardware boxes. The Edge 510 through to the Edge 520, these are the sort of devices that you're going to expect to see at the edge of the network. So these are the sort of boxes that you're going to expect to see either in the offices, if it's that sort of scenario, maybe on ships. We've heard of that before, and also maybe construction sites. So anywhere that is considered the edge of the network. For the 540s through to the Edge 3800s, these are the boxes that we would typically see in data center scenarios. On the left-hand side, under the title of BW tier for bandwidth tier, these are the subscription licenses that sit on these boxes. The lowest level that we have is our 10 meg license, and as you can see, that's only available on the devices that will sit at the network edge. This goes through in sizing up to the 10 gig licenses, which are the licenses that you would only use really in a data center. So next, we're going to have a look at the hardware support. So as I said earlier, we have 3 versions of support for the hardware. We have our RTR service, our next business day, and our same business day. With the RTR service, what this service will give you is that upon determining that there is a hardware failure, so obviously the customer opens a support ticket, and that ticket progresses, as it usually does, through to level 4. When level 4 determine that that box has an issue, a fault, and it needs to be returned to VMware, it is upon receipt of that returned device that we will then ship out the hardware, the replacement hardware. So we need to receive the box back first before we ship out the new device. More often than not, we find this isn't a sufficient level of support for our customers. So we really do see most of our customers either buying some next business day support, or they might buy the same business day support. Just to be clear, when we're talking about next business day and same business day, we're not talking about when the box will be received on site, but rather when we will ship it after the ticket has been opened. So a ticket that's been opened that has next business day support, the device will ship the next business day after the ticket has been opened. No need to receive the box back first. And likewise, with the same business day, it is the same business day upon the ticket being opened. No need for the box to be returned first. Some other bits of information you will need. The next business day and same business day devices are shipped from our US depot, and so this means they are going to be subject to any customs clearance holds, and of course there will be a lead time to get those devices across into EMEA. We do also have depots in Amsterdam, Singapore, Japan and Australia, but these depots are available for CAPEX, so there are hardware purchased devices to ship from. The RTR, RMA devices will come from there, and also our POC devices. If you have a customer who has a requirement for a guaranteed delivery date, then there are custom solutions available. So next, to have a look at the virtual options. So this here is the hardware specifications for the devices, the third-party devices that the customer will be buying, that they'll be putting that software onto, and obviously these are the technical specifications of that hardware. It is useful to note that the software can be run on either ESXi or KVM hypervisor platforms. So next, let's have a look at the software and the software pricing. So customer is looking for a quote. They'll need to determine whether they wish to have a standard enterprise or premium edition. They'll also need to decide how long they want that subscription to run, whether it's 1, 3 or 5 years, how often they wish to be invoiced. Do they wish to be invoiced fully up front with a prepaid option, or will they be looking to break their costs down to either annual or monthly increments? The partner will determine the support level. So is the partner able to provide level 1 and 2 themselves? If not, then they would be buying the full level 1 to 4 from VMware. And if they are able to provide that support, then they would only be buying level 3 and 4 from us. And then finally, is the basic software plan sufficient for the end user's needs? If not, then they would probably be looking to upgrade that support to either production or Premier. So next, let's have a look at our editions, what they look like. So first of all, we have the standard edition, which is really the sort of SD-WAN light flavor. As you can see from all the red X's here in this table, it really doesn't have the features that you get with both the enterprise and the premium editions. We typically see the standard edition used in shops, maybe cafes, that kind of environment where there really isn't that requirement for full functionality. The Enterprise Edition is a full functioning SD-WAN solution. It just doesn't give our customers access to our cloud gateways. So we typically see this used for customers who either don't have any cloud or SaaS applications at all that they use, or maybe they do, but they just don't have any problems with them at all, so don't feel that they need that feature. With our Premium Edition, this is our full sort of bells and nods on version of the VeloCloud SD-WAN product, and it gives them the full features, including the access to our cloud gateways. So next, let's have a look at our bandwidth tiers and how you size up an environment. Not something that really any of you are probably going to have to do, but useful to know nonetheless. So first of all, in our first example, this site is a single connection site with just one link, a DSL link there. That link gives our customer 25 meg of downstream and 10 meg of upstream, giving them a total available bandwidth of 35 meg. Because of the tiering of our software, you'll be looking to provision a 50 meg license so that they can utilize the entire available bandwidth there. It's important to note that customers are allowed to buy a lower bandwidth tier than they have provided by their provider. As an example, maybe you have some sites where the provider is providing the customer with 10 gig of bandwidth, but maybe that customer knows for a fact that they never use anything more than maybe 1 gig on that site. And in that scenario, then we would of course allow our customers to actually buy the bandwidth tier that's more aligned to what their actual usage is. In the second example here, we have a dual connection site. So in this example, we have a T1, maybe MPLS link that is 1.5 meg downstream and 1.5 meg upstream, giving them a total available bandwidth of 3 meg. In this example, this customer has a second connection, maybe broadband, cable internet, and that connection has a 60 meg downstream and 20 meg upstream, giving that connection a total available bandwidth of 80 meg. You would need to combine both of those links together, making 83 meg for the entire site connectivity. So you would be looking to provision a 100 meg subscription license to make sure that that full bandwidth is covered. So next, we're going to have a look at the software support plans. As I said previously, the VMware Basic support is the support that comes as part of the subscription license and lasts throughout the duration of the subscription term. You have that support. And as you can see, the support is a pretty decent offering at 24/7 call center support and some pretty good support response times. It's good to note that the majority of our customers actually find that this support is sufficient for their needs. However, for those customers that do have more critical environments and do have a requirement to have a better response time, they do also have the option to upgrade to either production or premier support.